Hello and welcome to How Not to Play, the channel in which I play video games badly. Today we are continuing our platinum playthrough of Final Fantasy XVI, including all main quests, side quests, and trophies. So without further ado, let's get into the gameplay.
So then, how long has Waloed been under Ultima's control?
How long indeed? Based on what we know of Barnabas's actions, I would guess some few years, mayhap more.
But to what end? What does Ultima want?
The tapestry. Show them.
By the flames.
Phoenix Gate, Drake's Breath, and now here. But what is it?
It is old, ancient even. Naught remains of the faith it represents, save what can be gleaned from the image itself. None could tell me what the one in the apothecary meant, even the Undying. But I believe it may be the key to discerning Ultima's purpose. That figure in the center, the one beneath whom the eikons congregate, that I believe to be Ultima. He is a god, or at least godlike, his very existence beyond our ken. The eikons, and by extension their dominants, are meant to be his subjects, and while some, like Barnabas, have accepted this role, others have rejected it, like you, Clive, which is rather inconvenient, as it appears he needs you most of all. And gods don't like to be disobeyed.
No, I don't suppose they do.
Clive, may I tell Yote of the lake?
By all means.
Yote, I will be accompanying my brother to the Free Cities. Whilst we are afield, I would have you watch over those Clive has made his wards. Umielos delan tuisag ilith. Though well concealed, the hideaway lacks trained fighters to defend its occupants should they be discovered.
But it is my duty to...
As it has ever been my brother's duty, remember.
If that is your wish, Your Grace. But please be safe. If aught were to befall you,
You have my word.
Farewell, my lord, my lady.
We are in your debt, Yote.
She likes him.
Let's find our friends.
And he's oblivious.
It's plain she cares for you very deeply.
And I her, which is why I had to let her go.
Alright, so we're at a midpoint here, I suppose, in the Cloak and Dagger quest, so we can go ahead and do some of these optional quests that it's giving us. And while we're doing those, we can go ahead and do some of the others. that we passed up on. So let's go ahead and do some questing.
Opportunity beckons. Who among you is bold enough to heed her call? Is that blade for hire, perchance? Because I have a mind to make a killing.
Figuratively, I hope.
Well, yes and no. A passing caravan carried with it a rumor most fortuitous for one in my trade, that an elder Dread Evis had been sighted in the fields of Korava. Dread Evis are aggressive beasts. Compelled as they are to acts of violence, few survive to maturity, but those that do develop a hide of phenomenal value.
A hide you want to sell?
Eventually, yes. Though I would have it tanned first that it might be crafted into marvels the likes of which the world has never seen. Dread Evis skin is a rare thing indeed. But the worked hide of a well-aged beast, now that would fetch such coin that Gilbert himself might weep with envy. Bring me that beast's skin and I will share with you the bounty of our combined labors.
Alright.
All right. I'll hunt your Evis.
Of course you will. When one lives in such troubled times, it is a fool who lets opportunity slip his grasp. Leave Tabor through the east gate, but take the path that branches west. Once you reach the checkpoint at Tovany, you are a mere stone's throw from the fields of Korava. I eagerly await your safe, and above all, triumphant return.
I've been to the fields of Korava before. Have I? Yeah, right there. Fields of Korava. It won't let me go through Tovany though. It's weird that that way's blocked off though. I can't go the way he told me. But I can get to Korava through the jaw. I'll just port over here. Alright, so we made it to the fields of Korava under our own power, since the path on the other side was closed. But either way, we made it to the Evis, and let's go ahead and show him the meaning.
It looks like there's still plenty of fight in him yet.
Of dread. Yeah, keep attacking me, charge me up. Oh yeah. Oh, hell. I've got Kashik Torgal, I've got Shiva, I've got Phoenix. Man, this Evis don't know what hit it. Yeah, this thing is just toast. We got the Avis skin item and a dragon talon to go with it.
This thing reeks. The sooner it's off my hands, the better.
And like we said, the pathway back to Tabor is actually blocked for some reason through Tovany. So we'll just use the obelisk and travel there that way.
Here's your hide, as requested.
I worried you might never return. Quickly, let me see it. Oh, supple as a maiden's cheek, yet as adamant as her virtue. This is everything I had hoped for, and more. Clearly, my trust in you was not misplaced. You must be a hunter of considerable talent to have bested the beast with nary a scratch. Join me as my honored partner. With my means and your might, we shall be as wealthy as the merchant kings of Zemeckis.
I don't plan on making a habit of this. I'm busy enough as it is.
Very well. Though I believe fate had a hand in our meeting, it would be unbecoming of me to beg. Do not allow me to keep you from being about your business. Here, for the hide.
Alright, level 40. He gave us 100 bloody hides and a meteorite. What am I going to use all of these mats for?
Cyril. How fares the search?
Well, Your Grace, my report shall be with you ere long.
Ah, yes. Yotei is otherwise engaged, at my behest.
And the duty of wardenship?
Fulfilled. For as you see, I've been reunited with my first shield.
I am Cyril, Knight of the Undying and bearer of the Burning Quill, charged with chronicling the mortal deeds of His Grace, Joshua Rosfield, Keeper of the Flame of the Phoenix, and rightful Archduke of Rosaria.
I entrusted Cyril here with overseeing the investigation into Ultima's origins. Findings from his brothers and sisters afield are delivered here to be collated and catalogued.
Just how many Undying are there?
Not nearly enough, milady. Yet we are glad to give our all in service to the Phoenix. Such is, and has ever been, our creed.
I see.
You have your associates, I have mine. But you may now think of them as ours. That won't be a problem, will it?
The Phoenix is our sun, and we but the shadows that quicken in his radiance. It is from the darkness that we serve, both him and now you. Pray accept this token. For as long as you bear it, members of our order will reveal themselves unto you, if there is nothing further.
No. You are dismissed.
Your Grace.
It's a canva, then.
We'll talk about this later. Cyril seemed very, You certainly keep strange bedfellows, Joshua.
Oops. I didn't mean to go this way. But hey, I got another badge for my sash. How do I get to the second floor? This way?
Careful how you pack that leather. Any crystals...
This is a very strange city, built in tiers how it is. Kinda hard to get around, but...
Finally. No one was paying me the slightest heed.
Is something wrong?
At the university, the students would hang on my every word. Sadly, this far from home, I'm just a vagrant greybeard.
The university? You're a scholar.
A specialist in ancient cultures. The most accomplished in all Valisthea, some have said. Not that I look the part in these tattered rags. In my heyday, no obstacle could have kept me from my studies. Yet here I am, a wizened windbag, bested by the many steps of Tabor. The answers I seek lying just beyond my enfeebled reach. Would you do an old man a kindness and brave the stairs in my stead? You'll be amply rewarded, of course.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of stairs.
Climb the stairs and...
And memorize a few inscriptions for me, assuming you know your letters, that is. Some courteous soul is rumored to have carved clues to Tabor's rich history into stones dotted about the village. 3 of them, to be precise. 1 each to the north, south, and east. I'm here in the hope that those carvings might shed light on a riddle I've been pondering for some time. Namely, the otherwise undocumented origins of Tabor's unique people. People quite unlike those of neighboring lands.
I can't promise I'll remember everything perfectly.
Remember what you can. I'll piece together the rest. Make for the domed pavilions, and you'll have no trouble finding the stones.
If they're that prominently displayed in the city, and it's basically the city's origins and history, then why wouldn't just any of the people be able to tell you? Children of the hunters, now tillers of the land, reap her promised blessing and give praise her gracious hand.
Farmers must have settled here in Tabor.
Well, originally hunters turned farmers. Wanderers of the golden plains, lay your roots in stone. With pride recall thy noble past, and make these rocks a home.
What golden plains might the wanderers have called home, I wonder?
Sounds like wheat.
Not a scratch on them. Who's
And
fighting
something
for such a
about
good price?
royal blood.
So it's these stones to canter, and the rest of the boxes to dye.
Guardians of the crystal, the first stones of Tabor. Sacred hold thy noble blood, till ends the mother's labor.
No history would be complete without mention of the mother crystals. I should speak to the old scholar before I forget everything I've read.
That Cyril fellow's an odd fish, don't you think?
Well, scholarly thoughts like him always are, aren't they?
How are those new boots treating you?
The engravings were in good repair considering their age.
Oh, what that I could have seen for myself. Oh, come, don't tease me now. What did you learn of this place and its people? Let's start with the engraving to the south, shall we? What did it say?
The great good Moogle.
Guardians of the crystal, the first stones of Tabor. Sacred hold thy noble blood, till ends the mother's labor. I'm pretty sure that was it.
Fascinating. It would seem the founders of this city were descendants of those fallen charged with protecting the mother crystals. But Oh, whatever could have driven the Guardians so far from their sacred charges, I wonder? The engraving to the north is next, I think.
Wanderers of the Golden Plains, lay your roots in stone. With pride recall thy noble past, and make these rocks a home. Or, I think that was it, at least.
No doubt you're right. There are vestiges of nomadic customs in Tabor its guardian roots could never account for. This is proving most enlightening. Now, for the final stone.
Wonder what happens if you give him the wrong... I mean, I don't... Yeah, I'm just gonna tell him right, but...
Children of the hunters, now tillers of the land, reap her promised blessing and give praise her gracious hand. That's all three.
And so, we add primitive farmers to Tabor's founding peoples, the final piece of the puzzle. 3 engravings, one for each of the 3 peoples to have settled Tabor in ancient times. Guardians of the Mother Crystal, wanderers from across the plains, and last but certainly not least, hunters turned farmers. Little wonder it was so difficult to trace the roots of Tabor's culture. Those roots reach down through 3 distinct traditions. Nonetheless, one cannot help but wonder why this fact is not better known among scholars, given that the stones stand here for all to see.
Too many stairs, perhaps.
Ha! Too many by far. Here, and thank you.
I mean, easy quest, easy 1,000 gil. I don't know. Don't really know how necessary it was, though. Maybe that's why it's called an optional quest. Speaking of which, we have a few more back in the hideaway that we can go ahead and take care of. Alright, the first one is here by the orchestrion. Oh, it's not another recipe.
You put me in this situation, Clive. You can bloody well get me out of it. I need a hand with a recipe.
Are you sure it's me you're looking for? I'm not much of a cook.
I'm all the cook will be needing, thank you very much. What I want from you is a little of your time, right? Oh, and perhaps your sword. You remember Ivan's stew, right?
Yeah.
Well, despite the look of the thing, and that awful stench, people wolf it down. So I thought I'd try making one of these supposed masterpieces myself. Had a peek at the book and gave it a go, but, well...
It wasn't as straightforward as you'd hoped. Ivan had the same problem.
Yeah, but this is my blooming kitchen, and I will not be outdone. So if you don't want to be seen as playing favourites, I suggest you lend me a hand.
I've never been one to play favourites, Molly. And I would be only too happy to lend you a hand. So, what's on the menu this time?
A fried mortress of skyworm. That's one heck of a name, innit? Recipe seemed easy enough to an old hand like myself. Thought I'd followed it to a T. Only, turns out skyworm livers and drake's mint are not what I thought they were. At least I hope they're not, given the rancid mess they made.
Ivan said the recipes in the culinary pilgrimage date back centuries. Who's to say the ingredients even exist anymore?
Well, that's a question for a scholar, wouldn't you say? Perhaps you know of one?
Alright.
Kindly old fella who haunts the shelves, maybe?
Fine. I'll go and speak to Harpocrates. Perhaps he'll know something. And if he does, I'll see if I can find your ingredients for you.
You do that. Lest we forget, you've got a reputation to uphold.
What reputation? Being an outlaw? Certainly not of being a cook. Alright, tomes.
Is a storm coming soon?
Lawsman Harpocrates. I've come to pick your brain if you don't mind. It's about the book you lent Ivan.
Ah, Valisthea, A Culinary Pilgrimage, a classic. One of my favorites, in fact. The young man did a wonderful job with the Chance's stew. I do hope we shall be able to sample more such marvels in due course.
That's actually why I'm here. I don't suppose you know where I might find skyworm livers and drake's mint.
Ah, so the fabled Sandbrequois delicacy is next on the menu. Delightful. The descriptions of fried mortris never fail to make my mouth water. Now, skyworm is a somewhat antiquated name for the wyvern. Their ground livers being the paste from which the mortris is made.
Dragon livers. How very Sandbrequois.
One would have thought the disciples of Bahamut would have a touch more reverence for their eikons' brethren, but apparently not. I believe the specific dragon the recipe demands is the blueback wyvern, said to be the very color of the sea beside which it resides.
So we know where to look for our liver. But what about the drake's mint?
Saint's bonnet in contemporary parlance, a herb which grows along the North Reach coast. I gather that one can locate the cheerful yellow flowers by their heady scent alone, so I'm sure you'll have no trouble finding them. I may add that people once believed game was best served with the flora that sustained it in life, in which regard fried mortris of skyworm is undoubtedly a typical dish of the time.
Meaning that if I find one, I find the other. To Northreach, then.
Best of luck, Clive. And do save me a bite once the dish is complete.
I find it hard to believe that the wyverns eat flowers. I'm pretty sure dragons are carnivorous. Although I do suppose they can be omnivores.
Alright, let's get this over with.
We got a raptor liver. Alright. Not quite what I was expecting, but I guess it works.
That's the wyvern's liver. Now I just need to find the herbs. Bright yellow with a heady scent.
I suppose dogs do eat grass when, to settle their stomach, so it's possible that dragons like to eat flowers as an after-dinner mint.
I think that's everything Molly needs to resurrect her recipe. Better head back.
It seems the hideaway's lost its appetite.
So, did you have that word with Tomes then?
I did, and he was as helpful as ever. He told me exactly where to look, in fact.
And what precisely will I be cooking up? Or is it better not to know?
Blueback wyvern liver. And, a herb known as Saint's bonnet.
Ah, wyvern livers, was it? Well, at least it weren't actual worms, I suppose. Now then, you stay right where you are. I've got some cooking to do.
Is that what
So
you were
these
actually
grand old
using?
chefs of yore knew what they were on about.
You were using actual worms?
And here we have it. Fried mortress of skyworm.
Doesn't look too
Ivan's
bad.
offered to make sure it's fit for consumption. Well, I say offered. He as good as begged.
And rightly so. Is there any higher honor than partaking in a slice of culinary history?
A little spicy?
So, not fit for consumption then?
What witchery is this? The crackle of the crust gives way to an almost violent richness. Yet, it is the piquant kiss of the saint's bonnet that tames this savage dish. It is a tour de force. A force of nature, even. A maelstrom of flavour and sensation. A graceful beast emerging from centuries of slumber.
I think he likes it.
Well,
I think
can't
he's
tell
way
with
too
all
into
that
food.
nonsense he's talking. But I reckon you might be right. It was decent then, I take it.
Decent? It's remarkable. And I defy any man to say a word to the contrary. Sid, might I suggest that you command a party of your finest men and women to procure a dozen blueback wyverns forthwith?
I'll give it some thought.
Oh, and be sure to give some to Tomes. He was, very interested in... Yeah, whatever. Speaking of Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more installments, which you can see in the playlist linked here on the left, along with some of the additional content that I do on this channel. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.